you're listening to Mike Miller on the Harmony Street Show. Oh, by the way, this is Don K. Reed. Remember from the Doo-Wop Shop?
Hi, everyone. This is Tim Hauser from the Manhattan Transfer. And you are listening to my good friend, Mike Miller, on the Harmony Street Show. Keep listening, man.
Hi, this is Little Anthony of Little Anthony Imperials, and you're listening to my good friend, Mike Miller, on the Harmony Street Show.
Hi, this is Mike Miller. I am proud to say that I have as my special guest Little Anthony from the Imperials. How you doing, Anthony?
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
One of my heroes in this business, and I will say that as far as vocal harmony and finesse and poise, there was no better group than Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Well, you know, I think that maybe in the way we did it, but there were so many great groups at times. In the time that I came up, after about 55 years of this business.
Right.
I mean, everything from the high-lows to the freshmen to the moonglows, the flamingos, the four lads, the four aces, you know, all these guys, and probably missed about another 100 groups.
Yeah, I know what you mean. My mother put a little transistor radio in my crib when I was a kid, and for some reason my ear found Jocko and Symphony Sid, and
that's what we used to listen to.
You know, and for some reason I grew up, and when I was 14 and 15, I knew all the words to the R&B tunes, and I don't know how they got there.
Hey,
you know, it's funny.
Yes, it happens, and so we were influenced as kids coming up with that kind of thing. So they're to me the most purest group I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Was the High-Lows.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And their tenor and their whole Phil Martellino, who was the bass player that I had the pleasure of meeting, couple of guys in that group. I was so influenced by them. In fact, Clarence and all the guys were. They were not only just great singers, but they were also musicians. And guys read music. I mean, literally, they read music. And they played instruments.
Well,
they really
guys
were an extension of their instruments. So, and their voices were so well defined. Now, with Little Anthony Imperials, we may not have the greatest defined voices or, you know, individual talented voices, because they're far more greater singing groups and talent than we were. But what we have, I think, is a special thing that was imparted to us many years ago by Mr. Richard Barrett.
Right.
Is that blending. The art of blending.
Well, listening is the most important part of blending, I think. You know.
Yeah, you know, if you ever been in a glee club,
right?
I did in boys' high school, and that's what you did, because you didn't have no great singers. But what made it sound so good was the art of blending and understanding what your role was, and to do your role at the best that you can do it. And that's really what makes that sound happen. You can have a bunch of talented singers, but they don't sound that good together.
Listen, I've had umpteen groups, and certainly I know that you can take the best singers in the world, and you put them together, and the blend is the blend, and you got to know when to push, when to pull, when, you know, it's, you know, how to breathe. Fort Greene Park, and I went to LIU, so I know exactly. I actually went to school at the Paramount, and I used to eat at Junior's every day. So
everybody's at Junior's. I'm going to New York. I'll be in New York in April 5th for 2 weeks at Feinstein's. Right. And I'm going dead to Junior's, baby, on my day off.
Oh, yeah, that's unbelievable. So you started with the DuPonts, and, you know, there's a record called Prove It Tonight, and I have that in my collection, and I think that's a great tune, man.
Something tells me you love me, am I right? If you love me, really love me, prove it tonight. For a long time, I waited for this night. Don't keep me waiting, stop hesitating, prove it tonight. You never know how much you've done. You changed my life complete. Why did you wait so doggone long to say that you love me so? You love me.
know.
When you're a kid, you don't know what you're doing. You basically just open your mouth and it comes out.
Yeah, but good stuff came out.
If there's something there, it's like if there's a gift of talent, and maybe it hasn't been developed yet, but it's there. You can hear it. Yeah, it'll come out.
Somebody love you. Oh yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. Somebody love you. So have no fear. Have no fear. Somebody needs you by their side. By their side. Somebody needs you to be their guide. Be their guide. Don't ever think that somebody wants you and thinks you're sweet. You're sweet. Somebody wants you. That someone is me. Somebody wants you. That someone is me.
And but was pretty rugged and raw. I mean, for kids 16, 15 years old.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. Everything that you guys touched, and let's face it, as they say, God was smiling because, right away, double-sided hit, and right away, right into the thick of things with the first couple of tunes, and then it only got better from there. So, what a wonderful career.
I really got to set the record straight with a lot of people out there is that we weren't an overnight sensation.
Right.
We was doing that stuff when I was with the Dupots. I was like 15, and they were my high school buddies.
Right.
And we had several records that bombed. I mean,
Right.
absolutely zilch.
Right.
Nada.
Yeah.
But also we had the Imperials, which really at that time was called the Chesters.
Right.
And we had some menial records like Fires Burn No More or something. Or,
Right. I remember that one.
yeah, I don't remember. But we really didn't do anything for like 3 years. I mean, we were trying and failing and failing. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
before I even got with the group, they went to do the Apollo Theater in New York.
Right.
The amateur hour night, and they failed.
No kidding. Wow.
Well, I'm in good company because Johnny Mathis failed.
Yeah.
People failed. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
But the point was, it was a learning situation. You learned a lot. And I think what happened was when I got with the guys with the Chesters, which
Right.
was really the Imperials,
Right.
that's when we found something. It's like what do they call it? When you play baseball or football, chemistry.
Right. Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm. You know that as a
Right.
group singer, it's that chemistry. And that goes. One of the greatest groups I've heard, and they were another group that weren't individually great singers, but my Lord, they were so. They have harmony to this day still makes me shiver.
Right.
The Flamingos.
Oh, well, Terry Johnson lives like that.
Johnson.
Terry lives down the block from me, and I see him all the time.
Yeah, all them guys, man.
That's why I'm going to ask you about George Goldman.
Yeah. We were on there with the same label.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, I was proud because I was a kid. They inspired me to sing, and I
Right.
was about 13
Right.
when I heard a song called "Golden Teardrop."
Oh, yeah.
But all the stars above, golden teardrops, you haunt my memories. The reason you came was because of me. You made me sit right down and up the scars. So go back where you came from. She won't need you anymore. I never realized that I was unfair to a love that was really sincere. I never knew how much you really cared. So darling, put away your tears, 'cause I remember, no matter where you'll be, in a crowded room or busy street or a cottage by the sea, but until the end of time and throughout eternity, I'll remember, those golden teardrops for me. Those golden teardrops for me. Those golden teardrops for me.
Remember that?
Of course.
It was way ahead of the time. Remember, it was only 4 tracks.
That's true.
If you listen to that, it was as if they were doing it today.
And not only that, you got in there with the band and everything ran at once. So if the drummer dropped a stick, you had to start over.
You got to start all over.
Right.
And that guy, and those guys came out with Golden Teardrops. Man, I call that one of the greatest harmonic-sounding R&B sounds I've ever heard.
Right. No, I agree with you. But, let's go back to the Imperials. I mean, the Imperials, as far as, and I'll say this, and but the people that are listening don't know, as far as blow harmony goes and that kind of thing, just straight oohs and ahs, the Imperials were phenomenal. And I remember seeing you guys, 35 years ago with the white gloves and the choreography. It didn't get any better than that, Anthony.
Well, again, that all goes back to Richard Barrett, who really was our mentor.
Right.
And he was the guy that told us, look, if you want to have the longevity in this, then you better be able to learn to sing anything.
Right. No, I hear you.
And then Teddy Randazzo came into our life, and then Don Costa, of course, the great Don Costa,
right,
who was Sinatra's man.
Absolutely.
Really began to show us what it was all about.
Well, those arrangements, outside looking in and those kind of arrangements, I don't even think that the R&B people in the doo-wop world was even ready for the sophistication of those arrangements. No. They were so over the top and fantastic that,
Yeah, what we did was we did something that a lot of the acts didn't, or the groups didn't do. We were so turned on by everything. I mean, I'm still an opera fan this day. Classical music is still very strong. So we had such a roundness in music that we were a little bit ahead of the game, and we always knew that we wanted to stay around a while. So we hung out with those kind of people.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, if you're playing basketball, you always want to play with guys that are taller and better than you because then you get better.
Right. So it's like singing. We didn't stay in that world at that time, which was called R&B, or street corner music.
Right.
And we sort of drifted into another world. It was called pop.
Well, it's really funny.
We created it, contemporary pop. There wasn't such thing until us.
I was a dean in a tough junior high school in the Bronx for 30 years, but also I had Jimmy Key's kids, and Jimmy always used to come into my office because his kids, they were a little troubled. His kids, Jimmy Jr. and Paul, and he would say to me, first of all, it was tough in those days, for groups like us because everybody covered our stuff. But he said we never sang one note of doo-wop, man. We were singing jazz and R&B, and don't you forget it.
Let me say the thing about doo-wop. If people don't understand, that never was a word.
Right.
In those days, that came in 1973 by a disc jockey in New York.
Yeah, Gus Gossard.
I don't think his name.
Yeah.
He phrased it because he was thinking of all the groups that were coming out of the New York area, like the Freeze and the Elegance and all them, and they were doing all these sounds that really weren't the same. They couldn't emulate the sounds that the R&B groups were doing.
Right.
So they created their own style, which is a thing to do. And they had like background like doo wop doo wop doo wop or ba 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 and they took it someplace, and so this cat gave them the name.
Right.
But they took all the other great groups and everybody lumped them into the same bag. The Flamingos was never that.
Right.
No, but the Mungos most of all.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Well, I can name. You ever hear these guys?
Most of all, I want your warm embrace. No one can take your place. I need you most of all. Most of all, I want your sweet caress. Truly, I must confess, I need you most of all. When I sleep at night, I dream wonderful dreams of you. And when I awake, no one's there, and that's why I'm so blue. Most of all, the one thing I miss the way we used to kiss. I need you most of all. When I sleep tonight, I dream wonderful dreams of you. And when I awake, no one's there, and that's why I'm so blue. Most of all, the one thing that I miss the way we used to kiss. I need you most.
Oh, chills, I mean, of course. I mean, the best of the best. I'm not going to let you get away with that because the Imperials were the best of the best also.
No,
if you
when
make
we were kids, you got to understand, we really didn't have what they had. What we did do is that we learned. We worked it up. We overachieved. See? And what happened when we hit our stride, we found a sound, something uniquely different than everybody else.
Right.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside with you. are with somebody new, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'm still in love with you. I'm on the outside looking in. I don't wanna be left on the outside all alone. Well, I guess I've had my day, and you let me go my way. Now it's me who has to pay. I never should have gone away. I never should have gone away and left you like I did, with tears in your eyes. I thought you'd take me back, but now, to my surprise, I'm on the outside looking in. Gotta find a way back to your heart, dear. Once again, won't you take me back again? I'll be waiting here till then, on the outside looking in. Won't you take me back again? I'll be waiting here till then, on the outside looking in. On the outside looking in.
Now, I understand you had a lot of musical people in your family, too,
Yeah,
as
my
I
whole
understand.
family, yeah.
Right, your mother, your father, your brothers.
Gospel singing. My aunts were gospel singers. Nazareth Baptist gospel singers. My great-grandfather was a great singer and a deacon. It goes all the way now, maybe 100 years or so.
Wow.
And then my brothers were all musicians. My one brother, Donald, who passed away, he played everything by ear, about 3, 4, 5 different instruments, just by ear.
Wow.
He composed and taught himself how to compose.
So, it does trickle down. I mean, when you're around
it's
it.
genetic. And also my grandchildren today, my granddaughter, Bailey, sings. My two sons, Tony
Wow.
and Daniel, 3 of them sing.
Wow.
So genetically, it just kind of goes down the line. Now, I got one daughter,
Right.
Lisa, can't sing a note. She said,
You know what it is? She just doesn't know that she can't sing a
I
note.
don't know, man,
She
but you
can.
say, you say, she can't sing a note. It's just that, sometimes the genetics and the genes will pass, a generation will pass somebody and then go down the line.
Well,
No
I'll
one
tell
knows
you.
why that is, but that's how it is.
I was at the Broward Center the other night when you guys were there, and of course, unbeknownst to anybody else, I had my little digital recorder, and I actually copped 2 kinds of people. And I spoke to Clarence, and Clarence says, "You got to send it to me." Just 2 kinds of people in the Boy meets girl. But the funny thing is, I mean, could you hear a pin drop in that auditorium? And I mean, that to me, it really doesn't get any better than that. I mean, every note was a pearl.
You know, the oddest thing, we get an email.
Yep.
Like my publicist taught me a little lesson about it. He always says, when it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
So here we're getting standing ovations and just accolations, and everybody's saying, oh, my goodness, that was a great show.
Right.
Oh, my God. And it was only 30 minutes, by the way. And that was, that's not even nothing. We are normally doing it went from an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours on stage.
Right.
Ourselves. But the point was is that I get an email, we get an email, and there's one person in the audience says, I didn't come to hear Grapevine. I didn't come to hear that Every Breath You Take. I came to hear your records, and I'm going, wow. And the people around me felt the same way. Well, Clarence emailed them back and said, look, we're sorry you didn't appreciate what we were doing.
Right.
But obviously everybody else did because we kept getting standing ovations.
I was there. I was.
Right. So and then I asked, and he said, "Did you hear all the records that we sang? Did you miss? Where were you?
Right.
Were you away from your seat? How can you?" Well, I asked my publicist, who was really brilliant, George Dasher.
Oh, I spoke to George at length.
Yeah.
You know, what a sweet guy.
He says, "Anthony, let me tell you something. I found out when I used to work for the newspapers, and I was a journalist, and I worked for the newspapers. Whenever cover anything and it was really good news and it was good, or you wanted to praise somebody, you only got a few letters, maybe sometimes. But when you would can somebody, the letter would roll in and the editor would love you.
Right.
So what he said is that there are people that no matter what you do, they're not going to find any peace of mind. And in order to get any recognition or response from them, even if it's negative, they can tell their friends, well, yeah, he emailed me back.
Yeah.
The point was that you can only go by who you are, how long you've been in longevity, and what the people, whether they sense and how they're responding and reacting to you. You get first-hand reaction when you're doing something live.
Well, that show was a fabulous show, and
I kind of felt it was.
And every note that you guys sang was a pearl. And what I realized, being in the business, maybe other people don't, just get the big picture, is that you worked your tail off that night, man. You sang every syllable. And the other thing that about Anthony that is well appreciated is that your enunciation is impeccable, which a lot of guys that sang this music.
I got that, and I got to give credit where credit is due. That was the late George Goldner, who inspired me. He said, he knew I had a lisp.
Right.
I still do.
Right.
And he was telling me, he said, when I was recording Tears in My Pillow, and he said, Anthony, he just said, wait, cut.
Right.
He says, well, and wait a minute. He said, he asked me from the booth, Anthony, who's your favorite singer? That's weird thing to ask me while I'm recording. I said, well, I told him Frankie Lyman, and I told him Nat King Cole. And he said, he said, what is Nat King Cole? What do you like about him? I said, well, because he's so cool,
Yeah.
And how he says, what's how Nat sings every syllable, every word.
And puts the T on the end and the D on the end of every
You ever
word.
listen to Sinatra, the same completing, we call completing the
Right.
and completing the words.
Right.
He said, I want you to do that, and just the way you talk, you have a very high voice. I don't want you to sing with, like you're trying to pretend you're being someone else or you're trying to imitate them. And I'm not alone with that. That happened to quite a few artists.
Right.
Actually found their style that way. Al Green found his style that way in the studio.
Right.
But he says, I want you to sing it like you talk it. And I want you to say each word clearly.
Right.
Like if you say, you don't remember me.
Right.
No, don't do that. Go, you don't remember me.
Right.
And I sat there, let me go up and practice, came back, and I opened my mouth, and I could see everybody in the booth go, oh, yeah, you know.
You don't remember me, but I remember you.
So I knew I had nailed something, and that was the beginning of the sound of Little Anthony. And
Well, because a lot of guys that sing this music, they slide into the notes and they slur.
You know, we're from the old school, man, you know.
It's like slang, you know.
You sing on the street corners and stuff, you ain't got no, you don't have no monitors.
You're right.
You don't have any sound. The wind is blowing, so your harmony is going all over the place.
Well, but there's another thing.
You had to be precise. You had to really nail it, we used to say.
Oh, yeah.
And if one guy would be singing, hey, man, no, man, it ain't ooh, it's ooh.
Right.
You know, you make everything over the top.
Right.
And it worked.
Right. Well, you know, many years I've been telling guys, ooh is not who, and you know, it's ooh. You know, there's no, you know, it's all by itself.
Ooh.
Well,
weird how people don't, you know, if you're from New York, you have a tendency to talk like a New York.
Well, the other thing is too, I started playing guitar when I was younger, so I'm a vocal arranger. I can actually put the chord out in front of me and strip it down and say these are the notes. And how many times I've been with guys in a room and they're singing, and I say, but that note is not in the chord. Plus the fact that, you know, the Imperials did such sophisticated stuff, you know, because you didn't just do straight ahead C, F, and G. You did a lot of augmented chords and you did a lot of diminished chords, and you sang a lot of harmony. It was very sophisticated for that genre.
Well, for that genre in that time. And again, let me give him credit. That's what we learned from the high-lows.
Right.
And the freshmen. Because Kenny Seymour who was our voice guy.
Right.
And also sang with us. You know, we replaced guys when they got sick and stuff.
Right.
Kenny really was a brilliant guy. And pianist, guitarist. And so when he would write out the whole sheet, the arrangement, then break it down on the piano. You know what I'm going to talk about. This note is here. And you say, that doesn't sound right. He said, check it out. Now you hit this note right here. Dang. Right. And you hit and you go, whoa. You know, what was that?
Right, because on the piano they could just tear down the triad and they say a third, and a third, and there it is. Right. And you guys sang mostly second tenor, first tenor, and inverted.
Second tenor, first tenor, second tenor, and baritone. No bass. In the beginning we had bass.
Right.
And then even at one time we used to sing fifth tenor, which comes from gospel, which is from groups like the Nightingale.
Right.
And we learned from that. We did it in several tunes, and people say, who in the world were hitting those, like, what was that?
You mean somebody's hitting like a seventh in there?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, like a squeaking above, it's like a contralto and a soprano. There's something about a soprano and a contralto's in the middle there somewhere, and then it gets, you pull them together and this weird sound comes out.
Yep.
And you don't know what it is, but it sure sounds good.
But it sure is funky. Hey, tell me about the tune Father, Father.
The Father, when in 71,
right.
I was in Las Vegas, and I was I became really friends with Marvin Gaye.
Oh, okay, great.
And Marvin came out with his song,
right.
And I dug it so much, and I was trying to find out how can I express that, you know, what I was feeling at the time. And so I wrote that. And several other tunes that were never ever to be heard again.
Now, supposedly you sang that on the Merv Griffin show.
Yeah, I did it on Merv Griffin show. I did it on, we did it quite a few different places. We actually did Georgia, which is Four-Part Mother Harmony. If you ever get we did a CD about 5 years ago called, it's Up Close and Personal.
Right.
Oh, not Up Close and Personal, I forgot what it was called.
Right.
But anyway, May get one to you. And get Clarence to get one to you.
Cool, I will.
We do all a cappella.
Uh-huh.
And we went back to the roots. And groups like the Eldorados, you know?
Well, I have a couple of cuts that are where Bobby J does the intros.
Right, that's the one.
Right, and I have about 4 or 5 of those cuts, man. Those are all dynamite.
The city of Chicago gave us great vocal groups, some of whom are still singing today. One of the great ones, unfortunately, their lead singer recently passed away, Perkle Lee Moses Jr. His fabulous group was the Eldorados. And what a great song was, I'll Be Forever Loving You.
Is it yes or is it no? Should I stay and be happy here or should I go? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. Does your heart beat like mine? Do you sometimes think that you had too much wine? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. When you're near me, everything is alright. When you're gone, I feel like I'm in need. When you smile, I feel so gay. Oh, is it yes or is it no? Should I stay and be happy there or should I go? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. When you're near me, everything is alright. When you're gone, I feel like I'm in need. When you smile, I feel so gay. Oh, is it yes or is it no? Should I stay and be happy here or should I go? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. Oh. Or is it yes?
Man, it was tough, man.
Yep.
And if anybody tells you that doing acapella is
Oh,
easy,
yeah. Very hard.
it ain't, because all you could do is get the key from the pianist.
Oh, yeah.
Or he can hold. We dropped that track out, and we
Right.
just have the vocal tracks in.
Right.
But all he did was to give us a basis of a foundation.
Yeah, because, you know,
But we had to wail it. We had to nail it thing.
Hey,
It took a long time, man.
groups-
We got despondent.
nowadays.
Oh, man, let's go back over that again. You know?
Nowadays, you go in, you get the music in your ear and the click track and whatever and the tempo, and then you sing it, and then they wipe the music. And so you sung it to music, so it's like in tempo, and you stay in the same key, and then they wipe the music, and it comes out a cappella.
Right. So when you really do an acapella, it's really you're popping of your fingers. You get the key,
Right.
and then you go for it. We could have done that, but when you're recording, you want it to be precise.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing singing on the street with a bunch of little girls hanging around you. Nobody cares. But when you're selling something, you've gotta. And you want to be accepted for something that you did very well, not to find something really to do. So we used the click for tempo, and then we used it. Actually, our engineer used the finger pop. Really was a click,
Right.
and we weren't finger popping ourselves, but it was
Right.
a click track.
One of my favorite songs was written by a neighbor of mine, Raul J. Sita. Sita is the writer and arranger for the harp tones. My favorite song is a song that's been done by Manhattan Transfer and a few other people. And now, Little Anthony and the Imperials give it their spin with that wonderful 4-part harmony. And fellas, I see, that's the way it goes. Bo, 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 bo.
Ah, ah,
Bo, 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 bo.
ah, ah. I still remember the day that we met. Your smile was something I'll never forget. my love grows and grows. Ooh. And that's the way it goes. The way it goes. I spent a lifetime just waiting for you. And from now on, dear, my waiting is through. And you can make all my dreams come true. And that's the way it goes. From out of nowhere, you came into view. Now I'm completely in love with you. You walk right in, and my heart walked out. You took its place without doubt. I spent a lifetime just waiting for you. And from now on, dear, my waiting is through. And you can make all my dreams come true. And that's the way it goes. From out of nowhere, you came into view. Now I'm completely in love with you. You walk right in, my heart walked out. You took its place without doubt. So won't you please open your heart to me? For since I've known you, you're all that I see. You are the one girl that my heart has chosen. And that's the way it goes.
Little Anthony and the Imperials are proud to have been label mates of the Flamingos on N Records. They took a song written by Al Dubin and introduced by Dick Powell back in the 1930s in the old Warner Brothers musicals, when they took the old chestnut, I Only Have Eyes for You, and gave it the doo-bop-shabop.
Doo-bop-shabop.
Boom, boom, boom.
Doo-bop-shabop.
Boom.
Doo-bop-shabop.
Boom, boom, boom.
Doo-bop-shabop. My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. All the stars out tonight. I don't know if it's cloudy or bright, and I only have eyes for you, dear. The moon may be high, but I can't see a thing in the sky, 'cause I only have eyes for you. I don't know if we're in a garden you. You are here, and so am I. Maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from view. And I only have eyes for you.
You did Merv Griffin. Did you ever get to meet Arthur Treacher?
Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of them. A lot of people don't realize we did more major television shows than any other group in the history of the United States of America.
And rightfully so. I'm sure.
People don't know. Well, the Hall of Fame people found out.
Yeah.
And they found out that we sold over 78 million records in a 50-year period.
Unbelievable.
Well, then when they started seeing these records, they found, wait, nobody's done that. We didn't even know we did it. I mean, I don't even know how many songs we recorded. We recorded hundreds of songs. I don't know.
I'm sure you recorded tunes that the general public hasn't even heard.
Yeah, I've had people come to me and say, man, I got this out of YouTube. Select this thing, man, out of iTunes. Man, what was that song you sang? Oh, man, it was great.
Hey, you could.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot that was on the album.
You could see your whole life flash before you on YouTube, man. The world is different now.
It's different world, but no, good thing, because what happened is giving us a second. It's reinvented the Land of the Imperials because young people are falling into it. They're surfing the place, and they see this group, and they're going, what is that? You know?
Yeah, except for one thing.
And the people said, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Philippines, man. I'm talking to Philippines, Japan, all over the world, Norway. YouTube. We're all over YouTube.
But you guys have you have a step up, and that's because the Teddy Randazzo stuff. I mean that's those have become standards, and so has the original two double-sided hit. I mean, Two Kinds of People. That song will go on forever and ever and ever. Tears on My Pillow. I mean,
Tears on My Pillow was a pop tune. Two People was closer to what you call a street sound or doo-wop or whatever it is.
Right.
Though I've had people tell me different. When we recorded that song with music, obviously.
Right.
But we've never done it with it. We've always done it a cappella. And the reason why is when we were kids and Ernest wrote that song, we tested the song in the street. It was the summer.
Wow.
What green? We went over there where the girls are.
Oh, I know the park very well.
Good place to test music.
Yeah.
We went over to the bench and to where the light, where we always sat and do it. We started singing, and having little girls go by and they hear it and stop. See, and before you know it, you got a little crowd there.
You bet.
And we were singing that song. We also sang it down in Hoyt and Skimhorn.
Oh yeah, that's where I used to get off. I used to get off at that stop to go to the Brooklyn Fox to go to Murray.
Great acoustics, man. One of the best subway sounds.
I know it well.
Every group in the world used to go down there, man. I'll tell you.
And we're the only two people that can spell Skirmahorn. Yeah, I mean, now
behind the Fox Theater, the old Fox Theater used to be.
Exactly, man. That was, in those days, you'd go see the movie, the show, the movie, the show, the movie, the show, and you'd move down each show until you were sitting in the front row. But what I remember correctly is that everybody smoked. And so if you were an act up there, you were doing like 3 or 4 shows a day.
I was smoking.
Yeah, there you go. You've blown it back.
Right, that is so.
No, I hear you. There's a tune that I used to do with one of my disco groups when I was in the disco mode years ago. We did some recordings, and that's the Who's Gonna Love Me tune. Who was responsible for that? You weren't with the group at that time, I don't think.
No, that was Ernest. Let me see, who was that? Kenny, Ernest, and Clarence, and Sammy.
And the most interesting part of that tune, if you've listened to it a couple of times, there's a little talking part at the beginning, and the lead goes, "You can't take the car, take the kids."
That's crazy. That's when we broke up for a minute.
Yeah, for a minute, I remember.
Yeah, and and Sammy Strain, which a lot of people don't realize, was right there at the beginning after Tracy. Nathaniel Rogers, when we started as real kids, was drafted. So he was only there for a couple of years, 2.5 years.
Right.
And Tracy came up, we were all kids, babies running around the street.
Right.
But Tracy, who passed away a few years ago, a couple of years ago, Sammy came and took his place in 1960.
Right.
And he was there forever. You know, he was there all the way. So all those great songs we had in the 60s was all Sammy. Sammy then went with the OJs. A lot of people don't realize he was with the OJs for 16 years.
Yeah, I read that, but I really didn't know that. I obviously didn't know that.
We knew, obviously, in the business, you know, all the groups. And groups, you know how that is, man. Groups hang with groups.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way it is.
I know.
I mean, they admire each other with so much. They you know, when you're doing something on stage, and you, like the Apollo, and you got maybe 3 or 4 other groups that are on the show, you can look in the wings. They're all standing and look and see what you're doing.
Oh, man. Absolutely. I mean, people don't realize how much groups root for each other backstage.
Today they don't. I mean, rappers from another world. But then it was an honor to meet Eddie Kendricks of Fringos, and he was honored to meet me. And we sit there and compare notes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just talking about music. That's all we did.
Well, I had an interesting thing happen about 20-some-odd years ago, is that we did a show, and if I remember correctly, Lou Christie was on the show. I had the group I had the group Harmony Street with the 3 girls and the bass singer, and I kept trying all night backstage because Don K. Reed was there and Brucey was there. And as a matter of fact, Hal Jackson was in the audience, and we had him come back. If you remember that night, and it was a long time ago, and I kept trying to get you to take a little cassette that I had, and I kept leaving it in front of you, and you just left it there. And there was no CD in that day; it was a cassette, and I stuck it in your valet suit bag. And then about a month later, I get a phone call, and it was your wife, and she said, "Mike Miller," and I went, "Yeah." And you were in California at that time. She says, "My husband would like to speak to you." And I said, "Who's your husband?" She said, "Little Anthony." And I said, "Well, what are you waiting for? Put him on." And you said to me, I listened to the cassette. It was good, man. I said, "Wow, that's like handing me gold, man." To have Little Anthony say he liked my stuff. I mean, give me a break.
I got to it.
Yeah.
Because it's always just, we got me and Clarence, and sometimes we just sit there and listen. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, man. I mean, we listen to the Ink Spots and a marvel at the late Nick Kenny, how his lead voice was. We used to say, man, that guy. And with a time when they didn't have the technology that they have today, you know, it's just amazing.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that the Platters covered most of what the Ink Spots did. You know,
Platters was a modern day Ink Spot.
Yeah.
Tony Williams was like Nick Kenny incarnated.
Oh yeah. Well, you know,
Tony Williams. I gotta tell you something. Man, that cat had a voice that should. Boy,
you bet. I know.
What that guy had, man.
You know, Wayne Miller is a good friend of mine, and my name is Miller also. He calls me Cuz all the time. He calls me up, "Hey, Cuz, how you doing?" He sent me a picture. It's little Wayne Miller's like kneeling down, and it's you, and it's Clarence, and I think Gene Chandler and a couple of other people. And he told me, he says that's one of his most cherished pictures. Is Wayne with the Imperials? You know,
nice.
he sent me the picture. But I'll tell you, Herb Reed got me at a dressing tent one time, and he says to me, "Kid, it wasn't all sweet. It was kind of bittersweet at times, because you know what? People made love to our music, but you know what? After the show, they ate in the restaurant. We ate on the bus. So how do you figure?"
Yeah, I mean, we were on tour with them in the beginning. I mean, 1959.
Yeah.
I was on a tour called The Greatest Show of Stars.
Right.
Him and a bunch of thousand other great people on the show.
Right.
And the Platters that was the first time I had met Tony and Zola and Lynch, you know.
Right.
And all those guys. And, you know, it was Rupert, their piano player, who was really the voice guy. He was the guy that did most of their voicing.
Wow.
And and I tell you what, Herb Reed is, to me, one of the greatest bass sounds. I mean, he's one of the best I've ever heard.
Wow.
You can hear this guy. The resonance of his bottom of his notes.
Wow.
I used to stand in the wing and go, oh my goodness. And I've heard some of the best. Donald Muffett.
Right.
Of the Valors.
Right.
He's just doing all that stuff with his voice. What was his name? Will you come over tonight?
Yep.
Oh, I used to say, oh my goodness. So that was it. I met some of the greatest bass singers ever. ever sang.
Oh, yeah.
The Ravens, what's his name? Considered one of the best. But I must say that Herbie is right up there with the top. You know who else was one of the finest bass singers? Sherman Gaines.
Oh, yeah.
Of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
It was a natural.
Well, I talk to Jimmy Merchant all the time. We call each other. The problem is when you get Jimmy on the phone, you can be on for 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean.
I love him and Herman too.
He stood out. If anybody in that group stood out, was him and Frankie Lyman, obviously.
Oh yeah, you know.
Sherman Gaines, man, my goodness. And then he sang "Old Man River" one day.
Yeah.
Apollo, and we all fell on the floor.
All right, so let's go up to the point where everybody's kind of like doing their own thing, and all of a sudden Dick Fox decides to do the Legends show at the Garden, and here come the Imperials again, and that's like rebirth.
Well, I got a call from him in 1990.
Right.
Was it 91? It's in there somewhere. I got a call from Dick, and I was a solo act, for 16, 17 years. And I had a call from Dick, and he said, man, I'm doing this show, and it's going to be a Legend, it's going to be this, it's going to be at the Madison Square Garden. And I said, who's going to be there? He said, man, we're going to have the E Street Band. The E Street Band was...
Oh, I know them well, yeah.
So they were our backup band for the whole show.
Wow.
Bruce was there,
Well, you know what's funny? Stevie Jordan, who was the drummer for the E Street Band, he was a thin black kid. He came and went with them. He was my student in the junior high school.
He was there a minute. Max Weinberg was with him for like years.
Right. But Stevie was there for a little bit. I used to take his drumsticks away in the lunchroom when his mother used to say, he's going to be a famous drummer someday. And I said, yeah, but he's driving everybody crazy. She was right, and I was wrong.
There you go. What happened was I was just talking to him, and he kept calling me. I said, man, I don't want to go back right now, man. I'm doing my thing. I'm making money, and I don't know. He said, I'm telling you, Anthony, this is going to be something else. And he said, what can I do to get you there? I said, well, okay, I'll tell you what. You pay my group this amount. You pay me this amount. I made it extravagant because I just wasn't, I didn't know where Sammy was. I knew he was with the OJs, and they were doing great.
Right.
I didn't know where. I knew that Klaus was in Vegas because I saw him all the time.
Right.
When I was in Vegas, and then I knew Ernest was in Europe. So it's kind of, everything was spread out.
Right.
So I really was doing it as a way to say, hey, man, we're not going to get together. It's not. He called me back. He says, okay. Holy.
He's a psychologist.
Right. That was the most money in my career ever made at that time.
Unbelievable.
With all the records we had, never made that kind of money. Wow. So when he said, okay, I said, it's going to be a heck of a show. Then he told me who was going to be on it.
Right.
Ronettes, they got some of the girls together with Ronnie Spector.
Yeah, well, Ronnie lived in Danbury, Connecticut, where I lived for a whole bunch of years. She told me one night, because I used to get together with her and John Greenfield, she said, we tried to get back with the group, and we lasted like 2 weeks, and then we started to get on each other's nerves again.
Well, some people just don't do well with the Imperials now. We were always friends. We never lost that.
Very cool.
But we might went off on different ways because we wanted to try other things, but we always were friends. We still hung out together. We were like brothers. We are brothers. We've been together so dang long. And so we just had our differences, obviously, but it never interfered in what we were trying to prove. We had each one had this drive in them to prove something, that they could be something special. So
right.
We didn't have that problem. But when I called those guys, I called Ernest, and his daughter called me.
Right.
I got a number from someone. He says, my dad's in Europe. He's in Luxembourg. He's in Germany. He was living in Europe Ernest speaks German.
Wow.
He speaks Dutch and German.
Wow.
That's how long he lived there. You know what I mean? And so I said, well, can you get in touch with him? Call me. 2 weeks later, I get a call. And it's Ernest. So I tell him what's happening. And he says, well, man, yeah, I mean, he's going to send me, the ticket's going to set up. I said, yeah. He said, what are we going to do? I mean, we haven't been together. I said, man, just sing. That's all. All we got to do.
Sing it in German. Just be there.
Yeah. And then I call Clarence right away. Say,
right.
Cool,
Yeah.
And then I get a call from my daughter's mother, Melba Sanchez.
Right.
And she was really close with Sammy and stayed with, go to all the OJ shows and stuff. And she said, oh, Sammy said, how come you didn't call him? He heard about this thing. I said, I don't know. He was with OJ's, and, they're doing great and bringing, time for doing what I'm doing, Right. And she said, no, give him a call. So I called him.
Wow.
He said, man, and Eddie Bird told him it was cool. Now, here's another thing your audience might want to know. Sammy Strain is the only group singer that won 2 awards. He's in the Hall of Fame twice.
Wow.
One with the OJs and one with us.
Wow.
The only one.
So,
Kind of like that we have. That's even a record no one has.
you know, being picked for, I mean, look, Terry Stewart is a very good friend of mine. And I see him personally when we lived in Harmony Street, went to the White House for the Clintons
that's great.
a bunch of times. And Terry, we were on Fox News and everything, and the Clintons loved us. We were one of the only doo-wop groups to really be there with the Clintons. And Terry Stewart caught wind of it, and he used to invite us every place. We actually were guests at his house New Year's one time, in '98, actually, and it was great. And I talk to him all the time, and he says, it's funny about groups in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There are groups that are not in there that should be there, and there are groups that are in there that shouldn't be there. He says, but I only get 1 vote, he said.
Yeah.
And so, being in there, I mean, it's such an honor. It's such a short list. It's got to be the thrill of a lifetime to be in there.
One of the greatest honors is like being in the Baseball Hall of Fame or football, same thing, Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
Because what it does, it says to everybody, you are unique. You are now the same as Elvis and Smokey Robinson and, all the greats that come through there and that are in there. You are now a part of that family, a very, very prestigious organization that you belong to. I get mail from there. I get all kind of stuff in there. I get to vote. I get to, when I go to Cleveland, I can walk in. I ain't going to pay nothing.
Yeah, but you can only take Continental Airlines because nobody else flies into Cleveland. So, Anthony, what's your favorite Imperials tune?
I don't know. You got me there. Well, there were so many that I really enjoyed, man. Out of Sight, Out of Mind, which was a remake of the Five Keys.
And you know what?
I thought was one of the greatest accomplishments this group ever did.
That's probably one of mine. And the diction comes in on that, too, because it's out of sight and there's a pause.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is like vintage Anthony stuff, man, I know.
And what Kenny did in there in the tenor part was just brilliant. He came up with this sound that just everybody said, oh, that's so cool. That's one of them.
Shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba, 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 shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba. Out of sight, out of mind. So the story goes. You forgot I exist. My broken heart knows. Out of sight, out of mind. You found someone new, but I can't change my love. I can't change my love the way that you do. Shabba-dabba-da, shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba. I sit around wondering about your view of pain. I should forget to remember, and remember not to care. I'd forget if I could, but my heart is so blind. You are gone out of sight. You are gone out of sight, but not out of my mind. You are gone out of sight, but not out of my mind.
favorite of the recordings with Teddy Randazzo,
Right.
Don Costa.
Right.
I know you don't know what I'm going through. Standing here looking at you. Well, let me tell you that it hurts so bad. It makes me feel so sad. It makes me hurt so bad to see you again. Like needles and pins, people say you've been making out okay. She's in love, don't stand in her way. Well, let me tell you that it hurts so bad. It makes me feel so sad. It's gonna hurt so bad if you walk away. Why don't you stay and let me make it up to you? I'll do anything you want me to. You love me before, please love me again. I can't let you go back to him. Please don't go, please don't go. Hurts so bad. Come back, it hurts so bad. Don't make it hurt so bad. I'm begging you, come back, it hurts so bad. Don't make it hurt so bad. I'm begging you.
And but I had another song, night after night. I tell myself, who am I? Who am I? Na, 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 na. Get Out of My Life,
Right.
which is one of those artistically loved songs by a lot of artists that tell me they love it.
Right.
Not commercial.
Uh-huh.
Now that we're through and you have gone far away, why am I crying for you? Get out of my mind, get out of my life, get out of my heart. Night after night, I tell myself, you were gone, but I know you're still around. Get out of my mind, get out of my heart, get out of my life. Why did I miss you so? Why did I let you go? Why does it feel just real here in my heart? I still love you. Get out of my mind, get out of my heart, get out of my life. Please get out of my heart.
That's part of some of the best body of work we've done. Isn't anything. I mean, I've got to be at least a dozen songs that I call very special that we did. It just stands out. Every time we hear it, we go, wow, we did some good work on that one.
Wow. Yeah, and of course, you're probably your own biggest critics when it comes to, what did we do? And, isn't it funny that when you get off stage sometimes you say, we sounded a little tired tonight. That's the night everybody mobs you and says you guys were great. And then you have another night, you're fabulous. Everybody goes,
Clarence is one of the most, he's almost a perfectionist. He does all the voicing for years now.
Right.
So he's a perfectionist.
Right.
He doesn't cross my world because he knows I'm in some kind of other kind of world.
Yeah, you're in your own world. I know that.
But the guys, he requires so much.
Yeah.
Sometimes guys just get almost to tears when he puts so much pressure on them that they don't realize how many years he spent honing his profession. So he wants to hear something that he has been taught to hear. And if he doesn't hear it, like Robert just took Harold's place because Harold got voice problems.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's the new kid?
Oh, great. Robert has 3 octaves. He can do baritone, bass, and tenor.
He says, I'm the new kid. I'm only 58.
Yeah.
He told me.
and Robert, Clarence I had to intercede sometimes because I could see Robert just almost to tears. And I'm going, because he wants to do all right. That's what you're doing good, man. It's just certain things you have to just concentrate a little bit more, and what we're trying to hear.
Well, I recorded the night at the Broward.
Just 2 kinds of people in the world.
Well, another thing is like everybody holding the note for the same length of time. If one guy drops off and the next guy drops off.
Faster. We call that completing the note.
Right.
Okay. That comes from breathing too.
Oh yeah.
Understand how to breathe. You're gonna be okay there.
Well, most people don't realize when you're singing background, it's almost harder to sing than lead because you get extra
When
breath.
I go in the background and I gotta sing like with the guys, well, maybe Robert's leading or Clarence is leading, it's another world back there.
You're out of breath. You can't. There's no. In other words, you got to be there.
I got to blend, man. I'm going, oh man, Oh my goodness! And I'm trying to stay. And Ernest is so strong. His voice is the rock of this group.
Yeah.
He's the metronome, man. You can lean on this guy in the middle of the night. He'll hit that note over and over again. He just doesn't miss.
So how do you like living in Vegas?
Oh, Vegas! I've been coming to Vegas for over 40-something years.
Yeah, me too. We stay at the Wynn, actually, you know, when we go. And
I lived there before when I was a bachelor back in the early 70s, and I lived here for 2 years, and it was a crazy time in my life, and then I came back again, and I left, and I came back again with my wife.
Yeah.
And we moved here when my son passed away.
Right.
We just wanted to get out of California.
No, I can imagine.
So I couldn't think of a better place for all my friends were there. Bubba Knight was there, Gladys was there, everybody I knew was in town. Lamont Macklemore, Fifth Dimension, were all living here.
Wow.
And they kept telling me, man, come on, man, you move to Vegas, man.
Yeah, but my friends that live in Vegas, at the beginning they all went out partying and running and going to the clubs, and now they don't. It's like nah.
Well, if you work in the candy factory, pretty soon you don't eat the candy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So we don't. Most of what I like about here is just about 65% of the singers are here. They live here one more form or another, either half the time, some of the time, or most of the time. They're all here. Yeah, well, me, I'm a show guy. I love shows. A couple of my friends went to see Celine Dion, and they were raving how well the production is. And she's back. She's a great singer.
Oh, yeah.
And I go around town all the time. I'm mooching. When you live in Vegas, you're an entertainer.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking for comps, baby.
Oh, you get. I get. Let me tell you, I get plenty of comps. But I will tell you, we saw Cher the last time we were there.
You did? You saw Cher?
Oh man,
Everybody said it was a pretty good show.
Over the top. I mean, she has this thing. They pull out what they call Cher's closet, and that's how she gets to do her changes. She doesn't go off stage. Yeah. She says, we're going to go back into Cher's closet. And they just bring it out, and it's just like a big box, looks like a closet, and then she comes out in another outfit. But, man, let me tell you, we were like second row center. She looks great. She sounds great. Mm-hmm. And, it was really a great show. She does this thing with Sonny where they have Sonny on the screen.
Yeah, a lot of people doing that. The first time I ever seen that was done was the Righteous Brothers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When my man had passed away,
right,
and he had to keep doing shows, so they put together, because the technology there, you can do that stuff.
I told Clarence I'm gonna email him a whole bunch of stuff, including the stuff that I recorded at the Broward. He's very interested in hearing that. He says, "Man, I want to hear what we did." I said,
well, you see what I told you about Clarence?
Yep.
He's going to be listening, Jim.
And I'm saying Anthony probably doesn't want to hear it.
I don't care.
Because I heard it already. I was there.
So once it goes into the airwaves, it's over for me. I'm looking for the next gig.
You're absolutely right about that. So what would you like to say to the Imperials fans that are listening to this show?
Well, we're very blessed, and we're still here, and we're in good health. And we don't look our age, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
And don't act that way either. But we're from the old school. But what knocks me down is some of the people today I'm hearing about who are fans. I couldn't believe that I heard.
Right.
I mean, I heard stuff. Alicia Keys. She learned a lot by listening to me as a child, young kid coming up.
Wow.
I go on, and you feel really good about that.
Oh yeah.
I hear all kinds of things coming back at us. I mean, I just ran into Frank Vincent, in The Sopranos.
Right.
And Pesci and all those guys. We knew Pesci, and we were all young.
Yeah, well, Pesci was, he was a
guitar player.
And he also was from the that whole Jersey Rat Pack,
All them guys out of there, and Frank Vincent played drums.
Right.
So they actually played behind us once at a place called the San Suzanne in Long Island.
Oh, I remember the San Suzanne very well. I went to Herrick's in Manhasset. I was a Long Island kid, sang at all those clubs.
Yeah, so we knew the guy. Ran into Frank Vincent. I did a cameo in a movie. It's going to be out pretty soon. I forget the name of the movie.
Right.
Anyway, I did a cameo, and he was in the movie. He said, "Hey, man!" And we start talking about all the old days and everything like that. And he said, "Well, you don't know, man." He says, "Patch and them cats, man." He says, "But no, let me tell you a little story. We were performing in 2006 at the Marriott Hotel here in Vegas.
Okay.
And the ballroom was packed.
Right.
Like 1,400 people in there. And so after the show, I get this note, and the note says, "Mr. Pacino would like to see." I said, "Pacino? Pacino? I know it's Al Pacino."
Yeah, it's the only one I know.
So when I went out to find her, this guy comes in and he says, "My name is, what's his name? His brother's name, John Pacino."
Maybe.
I can't remember his name, but he's his brother. He says, "Look, Al was there in the back, and he was trying to be incognito."
Oh, wow.
When he came in town, he said, he loves y'all, man.
Wow.
And the same with De Niro. And we find these things like that. Now, we're going into Feinstein's.
Right.
And a lot of them we've invited, and we don't know if they're going to show up or not, but we invited them. And Feinstein's a place where a lot of those kind of performances go.
Oh, absolutely.
So it always makes you feel good to know that your peers and people that are in the business know your work. So tell the fans of Little Anthony Imperials, one thing you will get from us: quality.
Absolutely.
Quality. And we're not you can't label us. We don't have a label.
That's true.
We're you know who we are? We're street corner singers who grew up in the business and had the great pleasure of knowing people like Teddy Randazzo and Don Costa, influencing them, and Tom Bell and all these kind of people that have given us great respect.
You mean the great creative minds in the business?
Yes, creative people. And we have no limits in what we do. We're not limited to any one sound. If you want us to sing, if you want to call a doo-wop, we could do that. If you want jazz, we'll sing jazz.
Right.
If you want, we're not any particular thing. And to the fans of the Imperials, that's probably the reason why we survived so long. 5 years.
I am sure that you're going to keep doing it. From what I heard at the Broward, and the enthusiasm still that you have, and what a lot of people don't realize about you is that you are funny.
Well, yeah,
You're funny, man. You have a sense of humor.
Hanging around with Red Fox too much, man. But I use humor.
Yeah.
I see things funny when I'm on stage. There's a whole new world out there. And my mind sees things. It comes out of my mouth.
What I was saying is that from what I heard at the Broward, I know you're going to keep doing it until you can't do it anymore.
No, we're old school. We're performers. We are vaudevillians, man. We're saloon singers. You know that, man.
Yeah,
we come out of that world.
No, I know.
And so we have to relate to the audience, and that's what we do.
Right.
Nobody's doing that today, and maybe a lot of people forgot that's how it was done. But it's a quality in show business I think it should always be there. And I've had people come to me and say, please, keep on doing that.
Oh,
because you're the last ones that we can come and see out of the traditions of the Rat Pack and all of those people that we came up in our lives. You give us that thing that we were impressed by, you know?
Well, I understand that you went back to visit your favorite bench in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn recently.
They did a thing on us on CBS Sunday morning.
That must have been a thrill.
Back in 2009, and they followed us all the way to the store we used to come as kids called Sarjay's, but it's not called Sarjay's anymore.
Wow.
And we brought the cameras in there. People, they wonder, who's there? What's going on here?
Hey, did the same girls show up?
No, man. Maybe I don't want to see them.
No, they came with their walkers.
Right. So we ended up going to the park, and down at the bench ain't there. The lamp is still over the bench.
Wow.
And where we carved our names and stuff still there.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And so I heard that they're pulling some of the benches out, but they're not going to touch that one.
I don't know. Because all the little groups in town use that bench. Well, that was the only lamppost that was definitely over the bench.
Yeah, but you need to go take it, like they used to take the seats from Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
that needs to be in the archives, man.
I don't know, man, but I know it was there, and I just was amazed to come back and find a bench that's been over 50 years still there.
Wow.
With the same markings of I love June and this one. I was here, Kilroy.
And I wonder how many I'll bet you that Mike Tyson probably beat somebody up and threw him on that bench.
Maybe he did, and yes, I'm Tyson, man, and that's ludicrous.
Well,
I know Mike. He's a good guy.
Yeah, when I went to LIU, and everything, and after a few years after that, they used to hear about this kid Mike Tyson that used to float around that area.
Well, he hung around. He came out of Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
But I don't care what nobody says. The best-looking chicks in the world, man, were down in Fort Greene. I don't know what it was about Fort Greene with all them young girls, man, but they were the best. And they would draw everybody.
Wow.
And that's why the gangs used to get into so many fights, because it was their territory.
Oh, are you kidding? It's always a better one.
They used to come out of the Farragut projects. I think it's because there's a mixture of people in that area. Puerto Ricans, Italians, Jewish, blacks. It's just a combination of beautiful women.
No, I understand.
They all go to the schools. I mean, I went to, remember Girls High was next to Boys High?
Yeah, well, it's girls and boys now, right?
Yeah, and I think, didn't Barbara Streisand go to either Eastern District or Erasmus?
She went to Erasmus.
Erasmus?
Yes. And
all those guys came, and I mean, it just was a bevy of
Kenny went to Erasmus also. Kenny Rosenberg Vance.
Yeah, Kenny Vance. I was just talking to him the other day.
Yeah.
So it was like and Kenny used to come down to Fort Greene, but everybody went where you can be heard.
Right.
And that park, Fort Greene Park, which is a very famous park, by the way, if any historians out there. This was the headquarters of George Washington.
Right.
During the Revolution when he got beat and run out of New York City. That was where his headquarters was.
Right.
So that park is a very famous park. It has a lot of history, a lot of great people who were there in that park, who for one reason or another, man, they came there. Frankie Lyman used to come to that park.
Right.
He came out of New York, up on Harlem. But he would come down with those guys. Green is just a remarkable place, and that's where Jay-Z comes out. Jay-Z comes out of next door, which is Marcy Projects. Where Fort Greene ends, you go about up Myrtle Avenue.
Right.
You see about maybe 12 blocks is Marcy.
Uh-huh.
So you got Marcy, Fort Greene, Farragut Projects.
Right.
The Farragut's down on Navy Street, near the Brooklyn Navy Yard.
Right.
Right? Well, a lot of these rappers and people don't realize coming out of there.
No kidding.
Like we came out of there. And we don't know what it is.
Well, I remember that neighborhood. I mean, of course, being at LIU, I mean, that was a pretty happening neighborhood.
You was right there, man. And that's become an art neighborhood now. I mean, very creative people now live there.
You had Fortune Offs, you had, down the block, you had all of those places,
I mean, it's like big time educated world now, man.
Oh, I know.
Man, the hood ain't there much anymore, man. The colleges all got it. And all the creative people, painters, artists.
Uh-huh.
I went over there and said, gee, this store has changed. They got some great restaurants over there, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, you know what tech school is, tech high school?
Brooklyn Tech?
What's the name of that? There's a street that Ashford Avenue? Ashford or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All these restaurants, man, and these very high-end stuff is over there.
It's been my pleasure to talk to one of my heroes, Anthony GOURDINE. Little Anthony from the Imperials. Thank you so much for being my guest on the Harmony Street Show, Anthony, man. It was just my pleasure.
Mike. Real fun.
Yeah, me too. And I'll talk to you very soon.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Hi. If you haven't recognized my voice, let me tell you who I am. My name is Jimmy Merchant, original founding member of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, the co-writer of Why the Fools Fall in Love, our biggest hit. But your biggest hit is Mike Miller, and you're listening to him right now on the Harmony Street Show. Keep listening. And like I said, folks, you're listening to Mike Miller on the Harmony Street Show.
Hi, this is Lloyd Price, and you're listening to my good friend Mike Miller on the Harmony Street Show.
Wow.
On the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside with you. You are with somebody new, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'm still in love with you. I'm on the outside looking in. I don't wanna be left on the outside all alone. Well, I guess I've had my day, and you let me go my way. Now it's me who has to pay. I never should have gone away. I never should have gone away and left you like I did, with tears in your eyes. I thought you'd take me back, but now, to my surprise, I'm on the outside looking in. Gotta find a way back to your heart, dear. Once again, won't you take me back again? I'll be waiting here till then, on the outside looking in. Won't you take me back? back again. I'll be waiting here till then, on the outside looking in. On the outside looking in.
One tune that I did not discuss with Anthony was Traveling Stranger.
Just a traveling stranger on my way, and I'm looking for your love. Oh, I'm just a drifting stranger on my way, and I'm looking for your love. Well, I'm just a traveling man looking for far off. I'm just a drifting man, and I know not where to go. I'm just a traveling stranger on my way, and I'm looking for your love. Why are all the children singing? I guess the movies turned out right. Well, I don't care too much for movies. I just want to see the end. When she comes back to him at the end, all the children sang la la la. At the end, all the children sang la la la. At the end, she comes back to him at the end. Oh, the children sing la 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 at the end. Oh, the children sing la 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 at the end. When she comes back to him at the end, oh, the children sing la 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 at the end. I remember, oh, the children sing la 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 at the end. Oh, the children sing at the end. La 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 at the end. Oh, yes, they did at the end. I was starry-eyed, love was on my side. You and I would always be together, girl. There could never be another you for me. We were meant to be this way and love forever. And the day that heartaches never entered my mind. 'Cause my love was with you all of the time. Never entered my mind. Is it fantasy or reality? I don't know if I'm awake or dreaming, girl. How it hurts inside to think we were alive. I was reaching for the sky, but I was reaching much too high. Never entered my mind. 'Cause my love was with you all of the time. Never entered my mind. Well, yeah. All our friends and our relations and believe we're really through. And it's such a strange sensation. I can't get over losing you. Never entered my mind. Oh, well. 'Cause my love was with you all of the time. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well, it's 3:00 in the morning. Baby, I just can't get right. Well, I hate to leave you, baby, but I don't mean maybe, because I love you so. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Your mother, oh, and your father won't like it if I stay here too long. One kiss in the dark and I'll be going. You know I hate to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night. I'm asking you, boom, boom, please be my girlfriend. I've been waiting for a long, long time, for that moment I can call you mine. Oh, little girl, say yes. I'll tell you. Yes, yes. Why don't you be my girlfriend? Please give my heart one little chance, and we can build a sweet romance. I really love you so. I'll be faithful and true. Please let me prove it to you. I love you madly, and I feel this way until eternity. Please, my girlfriend, I wanna be your lover, lover boy. Baby doll, please fill my heart with joy. Please say yes. I'll tell you. Yes, yes. I'll be faithful and true. Please let me prove it to you. I love you madly, and I feel this way until eternity. Please be my girlfriend. I wanna be your lover, lover boy. Baby doll, please fill my heart with joy. Please say yes. I'll tell you. Yes, yes. I'll be faithful and true. Please let me prove it to you. I love you madly, and I feel this way until eternity. And I feel this way until eternity. Please be my girlfriend. I've been waiting for a long, long time, for that moment I can call you mine. Oh, little girl, say yes. I'll tell you. Yes, yes. Why don't you be my girlfriend? Ooh, girlfriend. Ooh, girlfriend. Ooh. Yes, yes. As we stroll along together, holding hands, walking all alone. So in love are we two that we don't know what to do. So in love, in a world of our own. So in love, as we stroll by the sea together, under stars twinkling high above. So in love are we two, no one else but me and you. So in love, so much in love, so in love, so in love, so in love, so much in love, so in love. We stroll along together. I tell you, I need you so much. I love you, my darling. Can you tell it in my touch? When we walk down the aisle together, we will vow to be together till we die. So much love have we two, can't wait to say I do. So in love, are you and I. So in love, so in love, so in love, are you and I. So in love, we stroll along together. I tell you, I need you so much. I love you, my darling. Can you tell it in my touch? When we walk down the aisle together, we will vow to be together till we die. So much love have we two, can't wait to say I do. So in love, are you and I. So in love, so in love, so in love, are you and I. So in love, so in love, so in love, are you and I. So in love, so in love, so in love, are you and I. So in love, so in love, so in love. Do ba 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 do ba shi ba 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 do ba 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 do ba shi ba 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 do ba 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 do ba shi ba 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 ba. Is it yes or is it no? Should I stay and be happy, dear, or should I go? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. Does your heart beat like mine? Do you sometimes think that you had too much wine? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. When you're near me, everything is alright. When you're gone, I feel like I'm in need. When you smile, I feel so gay. Oh, is it yes or is it no? Should I stay and be happy there, or should I go? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. When you're near me, everything is alright. When you're gone, I feel like I'm in need. When you smile, I feel so gay. Oh, is it yes or is it no? Should I stay and be happy, dear, or should I go? If this is so, I'll be forever loving you. Oh. Or is it yes? Ooh-wah, 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 ooh-wah. Why do fools fall in love Why do birds sing so gay? And love is awake till break of day. Why do they fall in love? Why is that the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love? Love is a losing game. Love can't be a shame. I know of a fool you see. What's that fool is me? Tell me why. Tell me why. Why does my heart skip a crazy beat? For I know it will beat. Tell me why. Tell me why do fools fall in love? Make it easy on yourself. Let her play her game with someone else. You are playing with the rules. Right or wrong, you're gonna lose. Make it easy on yourself. Give her up, find someone new. What's the good? She's not in love with you. There is nothing left to save, so why make yourself a slave? Make it easy on yourself. She's gonna change the way you walk and change the way you talk when she is through. She's gonna make you walk the line while she makes up her mind that she's through with you. Make it easy on yourself. Even though your heart will hurt you a while, it's much better in the end, and it hurts more to pretend. Make it easy on yourself. It's much better in the end, and it hurts more to pretend. Make it easy on yourself. Easy. Come on, baby. Make it easy on yourself. Don't make it hard on yourself, baby. Daddy's gonna treat you right, baby. Don't worry.
Open up your heart, recall how it used to be. Remember all the love we found on Harmony Street. There was a place that we used to go when we were feeling down and we were low. We looked into each other's eyes and found the road that led us to Harmony Street. We couldn't believe our eyes when we Yes, there were times when we had it all figured out. Then there were times when we both had our doubts. But through it all, you know, our love was complete. We spent all our time on Harmony Street. We couldn't believe our eyes when we were there. Wasn't it a big surprise to find we really cared? We looked into each other's eyes and found the road that led us to Harmony Street. Yes, there were times when we had it all figured out. Then there were times when we both had our doubts. But through it all, you know, our love was complete. We spent all our time on Harmony Street. Somehow we found our love drifting away. There was nothing I could do, nothing to say. We looked into each other's eyes and found the lonely thoroughfare on Harmony Street. Open up your heart, recall how it used to be. Remember all the love we found on Harmony Street. Open up your heart, recall how it used to be. Remember all the love we found on Harmony Street.
Little Anthony, this is John Lloyd Young. I'm on stage right now playing the Cafe Carlisle with my band Tommy, Goksha, and Bashiri. Look, here they are. And we are so sorry we can't be there for your lifetime achievement. We've got a full room here at the Cafe Carlisle, and I told them when I cue them, they're all gonna applaud, and it's for you. Here we go. Wait. All right, have fun, and over and out.
Little Anthony, hey there, shimmy, shimmy, go, Bruce. It's your cousin Brucey. Hey, little Anthony, my friend. Boy, you and I have gone through a few honors and a few shows, and it's so nice you at Tatiana's restaurant. Congratulations on your honor. You certainly deserve it. If there's anybody in our business that deserves applause and accolades, it's you, my friend Anthony. You are surrounded by people who love you, and this audience is crazy about you. Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do for our music. I'm your cousin Brucey. I gotta go back on the air. Shimmy, shimmy, Coco Bruce. Shimmy, shimmy.
Hi, little Anthony. It's Mary Wilson of the Supremes. Honey, you know you and I go back a long ways, and I just want to say congratulations on this Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm nervous because I'm getting ready to go on stage. I'm on the show with the Shirelles last night. I was on the show with Little Chubby Checker. You know, we have all come a long ways, haven't we, honey? Anthony, I love you. Remember when I caught that little fish? Oh, that's another story. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye! I got a show to do. Showtime. Okay, here I come. Bye!
Little Anthony and the Imperials. Please welcome Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Smokey Robinson.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a great, great pleasure for me to be here. They called me and they said, this year we're inducting Anthony and the Imperials into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Would you come and do it? And they didn't even have to ask me that because these guys are my brothers, and I really mean that. I have known them since, and we were backstage talking about how quickly time goes by. Time has gone by like that. I know that we were on the road together as kids and just hanging out, having a good time. Many people you meet and you meet them and it's always, hey, how you doing, what's happening, hug, whatever you're gonna do. But some people just become your brothers. And the Miracles and Anthony and Imperials and I, we hung out together all the time. So it is a joy for me to be here for what I consider to be a long overdue event. I mean, I absolutely love these guys. I think they are one of the greatest groups to have ever decided that they were going to sing together. As you can see. And they are still awesome. If you haven't had the chance to see them anywhere live lately, give yourself a treat. Go see them somewhere, wherever they are in your area, because they are the bomb. It gives me great, 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 great joy. And I feel it's such a blessing to me to be able to do this. It gives me great joy to say Anthony, Clarence, Sammy, Ernest, and Nate, come on up here and get what you deserve.
We'd like to dedicate this next number to the PBS audience. Oh, yeah. And also a special thanks to all of you for making this next number our second million seller. Listen, this is the way we used to do it on the corner under the street light. Right? Yeah.
Lady Maestro?
There's
Just two kinds of people in the world. Why can't we fall in love? Just two kinds of people in the world. They are a boy and girl.
Boy meets girl and love begins. Oh, what a feeling you get from within. For I should know, 'cause I'm in love. I'm the boy who told the girl how the stars above.
Just two kinds of people in the world. Why can't we fall in love? Just two kinds of people in the world. They are a boy and girl. Boy meets girl and love began. Oh, what a feeling you get from within.
For I should know, 'cause I'm in love. I'm the boy who told the girl how the stars above.
Just two kinds of people in the world. Why can't we fall in love? Just two kinds of people in the world. Why can't we fall in
Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Tears on my pillow, pain in my heart, caused by you. If we could start anew, I wouldn't hesitate. I'd gladly take you back and tempt the hand of fate. Tears on my pillow, pain in my heart, caused by you.
Please welcome Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Smokey Robinson.
Thank you so much. It is a great, great pleasure for me to be here. They called me and they said, this year we're inducting Anthony and the Imperials into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Would you come and do it? And they didn't even have to ask me that because these guys are my brothers. It gives me great, 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 great joy. And I feel it's such a blessing to me to be able to do this. To say, Anthony, come on up here and get what you deserve.
Sensational engagement of Julie Fiddel's Copa, our little Anthony, and the Imperials.
Don't remember me, but I remember. It was not so long ago, you broke my heart in two. Tears on my pillow, pain in my heart, caused by you. Well, let me tell you that it hurt so bad. It makes me feel so sad. It's gonna hurt so bad to see you again. Like needles and pins, people say you've been making out okay. She's in love, don't stand in her way. Well, let me tell you that it hurts so bad. It makes me feel so sad. It's gonna hurt so bad if you walk away. Going out of my head.